And welcome back to the Darkmom Consortium, and the Strike Group Armada presents the Star Trek Online Virtual Convention with the completely non-tech savvy mom who's getting very nervous because in an hour she's hoping that everything she set up to do on Skype actually works. We'll see.
One way to find out, isn't there?
Well, we tried it. Whether it happens or not is something else. In theory, it will work. Just need a little tweaking of things. All right, folks, we're going to play 6 Degrees of Star Trek Separation.
This can be very fun.
This is fun. We have done this on the show at night a couple of times. And the goal here is to connect 2 people. From Star Trek to somebody who's not in Star Trek. And to do it, I have so many of these. They're in 3 different computers. Oh, that's empty. This is what I do at work at lunch, where I put them together. So you might want to, let's say, connect, I don't know, give me a Patrick Stewart to Malcolm McDowell. There's a way to do it. And we want you to try and aim for not the shortest way possible, but one of the longer ways possible.
Not kind of a...
So let me jump back over here. Can everybody hear us okay? Looks good. So we do have some rules, though. Rule number 1. We're not trying to go directly Star Trek to Star Trek, so if you go, hey, they were in the same Star Trek episode. Trying not to do that. You may not connect them if they were in the same series, but not in the same episode. So, good example of this is Kate Mulgrew was in Murder, She Wrote. Robert Beltran was in Murder, She Wrote. But they weren't in the same episode, so you can't connect them that way. That wouldn't be an immediate link. Kate Mulgrew was in an episode with Ansel Lansbury, who was in an episode with Robert Beltran, so if you want to connect them that way as one step apart, you can.
We are going to also avoid connections to the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it is just too big right now. 20 freaking movies
in it. Everybody's in everything.
Not really, but yeah.
Well, pretty much. There's somebody from everything in there that we can connect up in 1 or 2 links. So as I said, the goal here isn't to necessarily make it the fastest one. I have everybody who's in Star Trek in here, in one of my 3 databases that we're playing with. I think I've got everybody in here. And the connections might be a little interesting, but I've checked them all out through IMDb. So in theory, these all work. Some of these are really not the easiest ones in the world. So let's start with one of the easy ones. We're going to start with Patrick Stewart. Your job, in 6 steps or less, I want you to connect him to Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong.
Good one.
In case anybody didn't know Tommy Chong. Now, because this is hard...
If they don't know Tommy Chong, they disappoint me again.
Because this is difficult to do by typing, we're going to move into the live stream open. So, no profanity. We're kid-friendly. No bad word posting. No mean stuff. We're just going to put everybody in there. If you need the link to come to Discord, it's in the Twitch channel. I'm going to move everybody up there.
Okay.
All right, we are now open. If anybody wants to jump in and join us and talk about this, you can. We are live in our Twitch channel. Twitch channel link is down below. Sorry, Discord. My bad. We're in Discord.
Hey, hello.
Once you get there, if you haven't been there before, you need permission.
So
let us know.
Patrick Stewart has voiced...
Nope. Oh, I forgot that one. You can't do voiceovers and you can't do cartoons. It has to be a movie or a TV series.
I'm like, there you go. Family Guy.
We're going to take those guys out. You may also do it in the really weird one, too. If they were in a play together, if they are married to each other, something like that. That's cool, too. But none of this voiceovers, no cartoons, none of that. Otherwise, we've got everybody connected through Family Guy. Pfft. And if you're connecting them through an episode of a series, they have to both be in the same episode.
Well, can we just then exclude Seth MacFarlane? Because then that whole argument.
No, you actually can't, because Seth MacFarlane was actually in a few movies as an actor. So you can use those weird, obscure movies. I'm going to tell you, he's not in any of mine.
And he actually was in Star Trek Enterprise.
Yes, he was.
And he's met everybody in real life.
Okay. Yeah, if you're trying to get... Yeah. But meeting somebody doesn't count. Being married to them counts. Being a business partner with them counts. And if you need to get into Discord, let Pi know in the chat, and he will get you in here. All right. Anybody want to try this one?
I think you have some sort of bug.
I do.
Standing behind you, Ma. It's like right there.
I do. I've got a tardigrade standing behind me. Oh, isn't he cute? He's so cute.
You sure it's not gonna like bite you or anything?
Come here, little boy. Come here. Come see Mama. Come over here. Oh, just a good boy. Just such a good boy. I don't even know who Joe Rogan is, Captain Darling, so I'll guarantee he's not one of them. In any of the over 150 that I've got here, Joe Rogan isn't one of them. All right, we're trying to go Patrick Stewart to Tommy Chong.
I mean, me personally, I just don't know Tommy Chong well enough to even hazard a guess.
Let me just put it this way. I just gave a huge clue. Tommy Chong, you know, the guy from Cheech and Chong?
Yeah, well, so you're going to Cheech Marin.
Very good. Cheech Marin's the next one.
And Cheech has been about everything. I mean, you got... but I'm going to try... Let's see here. I'm going to go from Cheech Marin to Don Johnson.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm not doing this looking at anything. I'm kind of running this through in my head as we do this. As an example, now Don Johnson was with Cheech Marin Nash Bridges. Don Johnson then also was in Miami Vice with quite many different people. But I think I'm going to go from there to... Don Johnson was in an episode of Miami Vice with, let's go differently for Jeff Fahey.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm kind of working this through. I don't know if this is going to work or not, okay? Because let me take a look here. I'm actually going to look this up here just to help out. So give me a moment as I work this here.
If somebody else has got an idea to help them out, jump in there.
Yeah, please. I'll take all the help I can get. Because I am kind of working this through in my head here.
Captain Darling, you left us. I thought you were going to be in chat with us. There you are. You were under that edge. Just jump in and speak. You don't have to wait and be polite. Frost, Marhawkman, Musin, Mr. Dave, jump in, say things.
I'm working on something. Give me just a second.
Okay.
All right, from Jeff Fahey, I think I might have something here. Give me a moment. Because he's been in a ton of stuff.
Okay, while DT is working on that one, I'm going to put another one out there. Just for fun.
Ooh. Wait. Oh, I can't say because I used Google, but
You're allowed to.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, Then Patrick Stewart shares a birthday with Cheech Marin.
Holy schmoly, really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's a connection I
Same
never
day.
thought of. Amazing, July 13th. That is freaking amazing. Okay, that is a connection I never thought of. Hey, that's cool. Excellent. 1 point for Musin. Sorry,
no, it's
DT.
not fair. I use Google.
Everybody can use Google or whatever you like.
But birthday is not, it's
I'm
not
going to
actually
take birthday. That's pretty darn clever.
Yeah.
They have the same birthday.
All right.
That's it.
We're going to go from Patrick Stewart. We're going to try Jerry Ryan. Everyone's got Jerry Ryan in mind.
Mm-hmm.
To Uma Thurman.
Yeah, this is one of those weird ones where I'm like, I know this character really well from Star Trek and only Star Trek.
Yeah. Believe me, this one it's easier than you think. Jerry Ryan is in an absolute ton of things.
I can think of a longer list of things Uma Thurman's been in, though.
Go for it.
I mean, obviously the Kill Bill movies.
Okay.
She was Poison Ivy in one of the Batman movies.
Well, pick one and see if you can work out a chain from it. I have one route. That doesn't mean it's the only route.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys are working on that one. I'm going to put another one out there. So we've got Jerry Ryan to Uma Thurman. And while they're working on that one, let's go Avery Brooks to David Carradine. Does both live on Earth count? No, that does not count, Russell.
Oh, that's nice.
Hi, BBD
So-
Fighter. We are playing 6 Degrees of Star Trek Separation.
Talk about Jerry Ryan. Didn't they make her look rough for this game?
Pardon?
Didn't they make Jerry Ryan look rough for this game?
She, I thought she looked that
Yeah,
way in, yeah.
Her
New series.
original look when they put her into the Delta Rising stuff was a bit
Bit
But
ropey, wasn't it?
that was because they didn't actually do a custom face sculpt for her. They just tried to recreate her in the character editor.
And I did a better job of that in the character editor even.
The new look she got for the Excalibur missions,
Mm-hmm.
that one they did like a custom face sculpt for her.
Yeah, I actually think she looks a lot like she does in Picard. It's,
Yeah, but the lines are not nice. The edges, right? They make her look kind of
Whitish.
jagged in the face.
yeah, but I kind of think it works just because she is no longer the nice and pretty character. Now she's starting to look a little rough and tough, and
But,
not bad.
Like,
Do you know, you've got talking about Jerry Ryan, and I've completely lost the question now because you mentioned Jerry Ryan. It's really difficult to actually, focus when you say that sort of thing.
Or trying
So-
to find a way to connect her to Uma Thurman.
Jerry Ryan
Yeah.
to Uma Thurman.
I fancy both of them.
which is, again, it's not fair if we have Google.
It's totally fair if you have Google. If you can Google the
Okay, well
connections,
then,
some of these took me 10 minutes to figure out. So if you can
Jerry
Google it.
Ryan
Mm-hmm.
had a body double named Monica Staggs, who was Emily Watson's stunt double in Red Dragon,
Wow.
where
Cool.
Charlize Theron's stunt double for Paramount Pictures was also the stunt double for the Kill Bill feature films, which starred Uma Thurman.
Holy moly. Again, that's really sideways way to go, but perfectly by the rules. No
Yeah.
problems. So what's the other one
True,
we've got?
the stunt doubles.
Yeah. Which is the other one we're working on at the moment?
By the way,
Avery
Monica
Brooks
has
to
a
David
really
Carradine.
nice. Monica makes a really nice 7 of 9 from behind. Just saying.
Okay.
Hang on. Are we the same age? I'm playing.
And
the
I
game
got
at
it.
the moment.
And I got it.
I bet
Okay.
they're the same age, aren't they? Same
Okay.
birthday.
David Carradine was in Kung Fu. William Shatner guest starred in Kung Fu. William Shatner did a movie with called The Captains where he interviewed Avery Brooks.
That's one way to do it. I might have to take this Star Trek to Star Trek out of there.
More troubles, more tribbles.
The Captains
had,
was a
Avery-
document. The Captains was a documentary. It was not a Star Trek film.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying
Same
that
birthday.
Avery Brooks and got digitally edited into one of the TOS episodes that had Captain Kirk in it.
That's true, he did. It was The Trouble with Tribbles, and Trial and Tribulations was the DS9 episode, so good point. Okay, the way I did that one was Avery Brooks was in Spencer for Hire with Richard Jekyll, who was in Starman, with Karen Allen, who was in Animal House, with Kevin Bacon, isn't that appropriate, who was in Tremors, with Reba McEntire, who was in The Gambler Returns, The Luck of the Draw, with David Carradine.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, if you've got time...
Do you know something? I've just gone on YouTube something. There's a quicker way of doing it.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, Uma Thurman's directory got out, and that's one of the phone numbers in it. Get that one.
Wow.
It says Uma Thurman's contact address, phone numbers, and everything were leaked. And 7 and 9 was one of the people that she's friends with.
Really?
It was one of the addresses. Yeah, I'm just looking through it now.
Holy moly, I would never have thought that one. All right, let's see if we can find somebody else here. Okay, I've got a fun one here. Let's connect Anson Mount
Potsy?
to David Hasselhoff.
Oh, Anson Mount, sorry.
Anson Mount to David Hasselhoff.
Who's Anson Mount?
Pike.
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 Yeah, from Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, I remember them. I didn't ever know his name. He's been in loads of stuff, but I never realised that was his name.
Yeah, it floored me when I was looking him up. He is in tons of stuff.
Yeah, I remember him in lots earlier on in about 1990s. Used to be in everything.
What's his name again?
Anson Mount. And yes, you may use IMDb.
Anson Mount.
Anson Mount.
I don't think I have the right person. ANSEN?
O-N. I'm going to put it in chat here. Excuse me while I finish the last bite of something to eat. Not a good day for the diet, sitting around the house and eating carbs.
Carbs are the enemy.
And who is he? IMDb? Or who is he going against?
David Hasselhoff.
You got the same hair. You go to the same barber.
That could be. Probably not at the moment, but yeah, could be. You
Why
can...
is he in Germany singing?
Yeah. I don't think he's anywhere singing. I think everybody's sitting in their houses, every place doing nothing, except playing Star Trek Online.
I didn't realise, David Hasselhoff is actually huge in Germany.
Yes, he is.
Huge.
See, he retired from his acting career and started a career as a pop singer in Europe.
I know. And everybody in the States is like, huh, what? Huh?
He just disappeared from the United States completely.
And believe me, his singing is so bad.
Yeah, he's like a Tom Jones light.
Did you hear they actually? On a side note, I actually read they're gonna do a new Knight Rider movie. There are rumors of a new
Oh, that'd be
Knight
cool.
Rider
No.
movie.
Reboot. Yeah.
Knight Rider reboot, really? Actually, I bet Elon Musk could make a better job of Kit now.
That would be cool.
After Val Kilmer ruined Kit, who knows?
With modern technology, they could
Val
just
Kilmer
like
ruled his face.
make an actual car and just like program it to talk like Kit. And I mean, technically it's a movie prop, but you know it
Technically.
works without movie magic.
You'd have to kind of downplay it though, wouldn't you? Because Kit's actually a really... If you look at the car, it's only 20 years ago. So, 25 years.
Who are we
something
trying to connect again?
Try-
I remember
We're trying to
David
connect
Hasselhoff.
Anson Mount to David Hasselhoff.
Okay.
And while you're working on that one, I'm going to give you a second one to play with. Michael Dorn to Al Pacino. As I said, all the connections I found are 5 degrees of separation. So they can be done.
Sometimes easier than you think.
The only thing I remember about Anson Mount is, wasn't he English?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, you know,
Pretty
not only is
sure.
he not English, he was born and raised in a town about 15 miles from where I live.
He lived in England for a long time then.
I mean, he might have.
I'm sure there was something in England.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him on a lot of chat shows.
Ah.
Yeah, it looks like Anson Mount, a really large chunk of his work was done in TV serials.
Oh, yeah, it is. But TVs are fine.
They're both dating Welsh girls. There you go.
They're both dating Welsh girls.
Or married to, or something like that.
Holy moly, he was in a ton of movies, too.
Yeah, I told you. He really was. He was kind of like that sort of second person that you'd see in the background.
And you recognize
never
the
quite-
face.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Ensign is an American actor born in Mount Prospect, Illinois. That's very close to where I live, and actually it's where my husband's born and raised. Grew up in White Bluff, Tennessee. His mother is Nancy Smith, a professional golfer. His father is Anson Adams Mount II. Was one of the original contributing editors to Playboy magazine. Anson has an older brother, Anson Adams III, and a sister, Kristen, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if he was ever in England. No. At least not for anything that's showing up here. I'm looking at his bio.
Anson Mount has
That's
a really
fine.
interesting thing as a lead role that he played.
Yeah?
Black Bolt.
Yes, he did, didn't he? I'm seeing that there. That was a couple of years ago.
Marvel reference, sorry.
Not one I've seen, but yeah, it's there. Yeah, when I first was looking at him, I'm like, oh, hell on
Okay.
wheels. Okay.
Anson Mount was in Conviction with Alexander Daddario, who was in the Baywatch movie, which had a guest star point of David Hasselhoff.
Holy moly. Okay, that's a good one that I didn't put together. Very nice.
I've got actually 1 in 5.
Okay, let's hear it.
I've got Anson Mount was in Hood of Horror with Sidney Poitier, which
Wow.
was in Knight Rider, which is linked to Hasselhoff.
Wow, you guys are good. These
The-
are things
the
I
best
would
one
never thinking of.
The best one I've come up with so far was that David Hasselhoff was in the movie Star Crash that also had the same actor who played Chang in one of the TOS movies.
Wow.
But Chang isn't Anson Mount, so that's incomplete.
So this is the one I got for Anson Mount. He was in an episode of Law and Order with Sam Waterston, who was in the movie The Great Gatsby with Bruce Dern, who was in the movie Hang 'em High, one of my favorites, with Alan Hale Jr., who was the skipper in Gilligan's Island with Bob Denver, who was in an episode of Baywatch with David Hasselhoff. The connections are awesome out there. You guys had some better ones than I did, though, so yay to you.
Hey, we both went through Baywatch just different ways.
Everything connects through Baywatch.
I didn't go through Baywatch.
No,
I was talking to Mom. I wasn't talking.
just-
Okay, fine. I'm
okay,
sorry.
we're still waiting on Michael Dorn to Al Pacino.
Oh, I didn't.
Michael
Didn't remember
Dorn
that.
to Al Pacino. I have a lot of Michael Dorns in here because he was in a couple of different ones. So I put every time somebody's in one, we do that. Ooh. Okay, and while you guys are thinking about that one, we're going to do DeForest Kelly. 2. You guys ready? Works better when I can spell. To Jerry Lewis. Pi, Jamie is Cool is somebody who has been here and chatted with us on occasion. Come on, people out there. You guys can play too.
Yep.
You type them up or jump into chat. Get Pi to bring it in here.
Okay, I've got it in 2. If that helps.
Hey, if you can do it, you can do it.
I got Michael Dorn was a nemesis with Jude Chickalela. Don't know how to say her name. Ciccollella.
Oh, I don't know who she is. Okay.
With Glengarry Glen Ross, who was connected to Al Pacino. I'll figure out exactly.
That's not
what
too
movie
bad.
was it.
That's not too bad at all. All right, so we're currently working on DeForest Kelly to Jerry Lewis, but let's have some fun while that's going on. Let's hook up Michelle Yeoh with Rex Harrison.
Michelle wrote a Rex Harrison.
Michelle Yeoh
Yeah.
from Discovery to Rex Harrison, you know, the guy in The King and I? Not
Yeah.
The King and I, sorry. What's the other one? Oh, he was in The King and I too, wasn't he? No, that was Yul Brynner. My Fair Lady. Rex Harrison from My Fair Lady, you know? Older actor. Goes back a ways. So we got 2 out there right now. DeForest Kelly to Jerry Lewis and Michelle Yeoh to Rex Harrison. Gonna make you guys work for some of these.
Clearly.
Come on, folks, go grab somebody and put some guesses in here.
Prepare your Google foo.
Guess.
Oh, moving target. Moving target.
Oh, I've got some more.
Oh, I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
let's hear it.
You ready?
Yep.
Rex Harrison was in Cleopatra with Francesca Annis.
Wow.
Francesca Annis was in Moving Target with Colin Salmon. Salmon was in Tomorrow Never Dies with Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And I had a different one. I had Rex Harrison was in Dr. Dolittle with Samantha Eggar, who was in Walk Don't Run with Teru Shimada, who was in You Only Live Twice with Sean Connery, who was in a horrible movie called Zardoz with Charlotte Rampling, who was in Babylon AD with Michelle Yeoh. But yours is awesome. Zardoz. Bad movie, but really fun. But really
Francesca
bad.
Annis
So
is
terrible.
a huge number of movies.
It's a really
so
a bad
terrible, it's
movie if
awesome.
you enjoy watching it.
Okay, it's a guilty pleasure. Francesca Annis was also in Dune, though. I mean, so I'm sure there's a connection that way, too.
Was it the OD Dune or the original Dune?
The original Dune with Kyle MacLachlan and Francesca Annis.
And Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, yes.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
with
that's
Patrick
what-
Stewart in that one.
You get to make that one really easy. That was amazingly fast, guys. All right, so let's make it really fun then. Since we're still working on... which one are we working on right now? DeForest Kelly to Jerry Lewis, but let's give you another bizarre one here. Nichelle Nichols. Uhura. To Steve McQueen.
I'm sorry, DeForest Kelly and who?
Jerry Lewis.
Come on, we can't have the same people doing this every time.
Yep. Well, we've only got a few people in here. Come on, people, play. Jump into chat. Join us. We have cookies. We actually have prizes here, too. See? Aren't these cool? Suppose I could turn up
Yeah,
the
I can
camera.
see them.
Hang on a second.
I actually like that movie,
Which one?
Apache Uprising.
Oh, I don't know that one.
That was one of the movies with DeForest Kelly.
Yeah.
Really?
You're probably gonna get DeForest Kelly easily through. I'll give you hints. You get him through. He did a lot of westerns before he did Star Trek. A lot of westerns.
Yeah, Apache Uprising was a really good movie. It gave a pretty good, a good representation of the exploitation of Native Americans. But yeah, I got it in
Okay.
2. But I want. If anybody else has it, I don't want to take it from them. But they're both westerns that
Go for it.
are attached, so it doesn't count, I guess. So Jerry Lewis was in My Friend Irma Goes West with Connie Calvert. Connie Calvert was the female lead in Apache Uprising with DeForest Kelly.
Wow. Amazing.
I actually have seen both of those movies,
Have
so
you
that's
really?
why I know that.
I was going to watch something the other night, and The Lone Ranger, an old rerun of The Lone Ranger was on. And there was an incredibly young DeForest Kelly. I mean, like 20 years old, kid. Amazing. He was so young.
They had film in that day and age?
That's all they had in that day and age. This was
I probably would have seen if I could have gone through like Dean Martin.
Yep, it actually has a connection through Dean Martin, the one I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerry Lewis was in the movie Partners with Dean Martin, who was in Airport with Helen Hayes, who was in Hawaii Five-0 with James MacArthur, who was in Spencer's Mountain with Henry Fonda, who was in Warlock with DeForest Kelly.
Warlock. Wow, that's a film from the past.
Oh, yeah, but a good one. It's like In Harm's Way. There's some awesome tie-ins through that one. Oh, everybody, name a Star Trek person. Let me see if I've got something for them.
A Star Trek person?
Yeah, an actor, and I will see if I've got a link for him.
The guy who played Barkley. I don't know what his name is.
Dwight Schultz.
Dwight Schultz. Okay, I'm going to say that is somebody I don't think I pulled on my list.
Dwight Schultz is in so much stuff.
He is in a
I
ton
know.
of stuff.
Bill, I bet you could link Bones into all the westerns as well. couldn't you? 'Cause he
Not
was
all of
loads
them, but
westerns.
indirectly, yeah, you could connect him up with just about everything. He is in
He
a
was
ton.
quite a big actor, wasn't he, early on?
Yeah, actually.
Actually, that one's incredibly simple. I just did a quick search of the two.
Okay.
So I just did Dwight Schultz to David Hasselhoff, probably as far away as you could possibly get, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can do it in 2.
Go for it.
Dwight Schultz was the guy that played Batman. Well, I'm sorry, he was one of the security guards in Batman Under the Red Hood.
Really?
It's a cartoon.
Oh, no, cartoons don't count.
Cartoons don't count.
Cartoons don't count. No,
don't count.
no. That was one
Well,
of our
so that
rules.
David Hasselhoff was in Hop, so I guess it doesn't count either because that's animated.
Yep, we don't.
Oh, okay. Here's a fun one for you. Link Abdullah bin Al Hussein to Dwight Schultz.
Who is that?
Well,
He was the leader of Al Qaeda.
no. He's
That's a new
technically
space
one
race.
of the royalty of the Kingdom of Jordan.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
He has
Okay.
done acting roles though.
Okay. That's
okay.
amazing.
Al Qaeda, the new expansion pack for Star Trek Online.
Hey, we still have
Alliance
Nichelle
with the
Nichols
Klingon
to Steve
Empire.
McQueen out there, everybody.
I don't know why I was thinking that. I've been deployed like 6 times. Saudi Arabia is basically an enemy anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Jordan is one of the less hostile countries
Well, that's
over there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the main populace is concerned, but as far as leadership is concerned, I don't know if I agree with you. I've had very negative interactions with, the leadership in Saudi Arabia personally.
Well, we
I
all
mean,
remember the first
we're
series of
talking
Star
about
Trek Online.
Jordan, though, not Saudi Arabia.
Huh?
Abdullah Al Hussein is from Jordan, not Saudi.
Oh, I heard different. I apologize.
Now I've got green people in Saudi Arabian type belly dancer gear in my head from Star Trek, the first series.
Orions.
Do you remember that was it? It was all based on Saudi stuff, wasn't it? All belly dancers, Middle Eastern.
So who are we working on right now? Steve
McQueen, Nichelle Nichols.
Or Nichelle Nichols to Steve McQueen. You can go either way. You can work from both sides to the middle. I will say this is a little difficult because she's not in a ton of stuff. And I will tell you from going through all these connections, if you're not a white guy, you don't have the connections that they have.
You didn't go
It's
there.
just-
You surely didn't go there.
I sure did, because I was going through this trying to find connections for some of these people who are not white guys, and it's amazing how hard it is sometimes. Linda Park was one that was just challenging.
Yeah, she's not in a lot of stuff, to be very honest.
Right,
so,
that's kind of the point. She's not in a lot of stuff. Now, I don't know if that's maybe because she's not a good actress. I wouldn't know. I certainly wouldn't presume.
I've heard she is a good actress. It's just she's not a prolific actress.
Well, we kind of cracked that over. In America, you had a big thing about having black actors and as many black actors as white actors, but over here it was just a case of the actors came from the school of acting.
If
and
the
it was
actors
very
know what they're
rare.
doing, no problems. If the actors don't know what they're doing, forget it. In my
but
opinion.
it was just over here, it was a completely different thing. If you wanted to act like Patrick Stewart, for instance, and things like that, you went to acting school and colleges and things like that just weren't.
It was really
the sort of norm.
interesting that you mentioned that, because I've actually met him. The first time I met him, I mentioned that, one of the reasons my husband didn't stick with acting, aside from perhaps maybe he's not as good an actor as he could be, but we won't go there, was because getting work here is almost impossible, and there it's different.
Everything start on stage here.
Yeah, I mean,
That's where Patrick Stewart started. He started on stage and
Right.
Broadway and places like that, and
Yeah.
and that's something that the black actors don't tend to do. They'll get pigeonholed into a type of film genre, so they get into the films in a completely different way. There's a big debate in England about it, but you guys in America don't seem to have had it.
Well, in the U.S., we actually do have several parts of the country where stage acting is big. It's just
Right.
that there's like New York City and Chicago and very few other places where it's that big.
Well, Hollywood came from Germany as well. Don't forget. So,
Yeah.
All right. Wolfie has sent us one. So I don't know if she's got this one worked out, but let's see if she can, or if it's out there. Majel Barrett to Gene Hackman. And I don't
Part
have
of me
this one.
thinks there's a single connection that you can do there.
yeah, it sounds right, doesn't it? It sounds like they were in a film together.
Majel Barrett to Gene Hackman. Well, if they're in a film together, it's not 6 degrees of separation. It's 1 degree of separation. We want to see if we can build something big there. Okay,
Oh, you want something that's vastly
what was Majel
different.
Barrett in besides Star Trek? I mean, she was an actress before she hooked up with Gene Roddenberry, but afterwards she did voiceovers for the game.
Producing, she did
Joe
produce.
Barrett was in.
She was in Babylon 5. I saw her in an episode, I think, last night.
Yeah, she was one of the Centauri.
Was she really?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got her.
Which can tie her through that series to Animal House if you really wanted to.
How do you tie her to?
Because
Veer.
Because Stephen First was an Animal House, or you can tie her to Lost in Space through Bill Mumy.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm on a
good.
pad at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that Majel Barrett was one of the very rare people that was in every single Star Trek. She was in every one of them. She was the voice of the computer.
Till she died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
I figured it out.
Okay.
Michelle Nichols to, what was the other guy? To Steve McQueen.
Right.
I
Good.
got it.
Go for it.
Okay, so Michelle Nichols played Midge in a 1974 movie called Mame.
Really?
And Robert Preston played character Beauregard Jackson Pickett Burnside. And Robert Preston was in a movie with John Bonner with Steve McQueen.
Very cool. Very cool. That's a connection I hadn't figured out. That's awesome.
But, I mean, she played a slave, so I don't think that's necessarily the best option
Well,
to use.
if it was in Mame, she would have been a servant, not a slave. Just because of the time period.
Yeah.
Yes. Not that that's necessarily all that much better, but for typecasting, but for the heck, it's a job. It's a job when you're an actress. Ooh, where did I put Michelle Nichols?
Yeah, never mind.
I never knew that. She was the Green Woman in the original Star Trek series.
Yep.
Susan Oliver?
Mm-hmm.
No, Majel Barrett.
No, Major
No, she
Bear
was number
one.
She was number one in
She
the
was
original series. The original Green Woman was Susan Oliver.
Why has it brought her up then? Under the pictures of Majel Barrett. Just look now.
Because Google takes the name and then
Like
the
that.
picture nearest the name. That's
Just being in the same web page will cause it to link two things.
Okay, so here's my link for Nichelle Nichols. It is Nichelle Nichols was in Snow Dogs with James Coburn, who was in the 60s or 70s movies The President's Analyst with Will Geer, who was in Jeremiah Johnson with Robert Redford, who was in All the President's Men with Dustin Hoffman, who was in Papillon with Steve McQueen.
Isn't that like 7
It's
movies
5.
there?
I have 5 links there.
Okay.
Snow Dogs, President's Analyst, Jeremiah Johnson, All the President's Men, and Papillon. I aimed for 5 for everybody. I figure I could get everyone in 5. Since it is a game for that. Find my delete button, though. I hate having 2 different keyboards. All right, so we've gotten those guys done. We haven't finished Majel Barrett to Gene Hackman, though. I haven't seen Lower Decks last night. I think we're going to be talking about it with Don Burrito sometime between 8 and 11 these days.
so that means you're going to have to take a break and see it while an interview's up or something.
Well, between 6 and 8 I was going to break anyway. I wasn't going to broadcast all day. I'm going to go back and do the dance party. You know, it's just like the convention. We break at 6, we go have dinner, and then we go back and we do the parties. Same thing. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a really tough one here while we are working on Majel Barrett to Gene Hackman still. And I have no idea if it's good, though. Don Burrito said he liked it. However, Don Burrito and I have different tastes, and we've had discussions. That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's the friendly way of putting it.
It's not. They don't know. I'm going to give you a quickie review under your point. They don't know what they're reaching for yet. It's kind of like really early episodes of the Orville where you don't know if it's trying to be comedy, parody, or whatever, you know?
Yeah, again,
But
It struck me as serious with levity to keep it from being dry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I can live with a heck of a lot better than trying to make it a comedy where it's not funny. I hate comedies that try to be comedies but aren't inherently funny.
But that's kind of what how they advertise the trailer, and that's kind of how they advertised the first season of the Orville, where they were trying to Seth MacFarlane. It's a comedy. It's not really a comedy, you know.
Oh yeah. Yes, I deliberately just covered that up on purpose because I need it for something else in a minute. All right, so let's do Alison Pill, Agnes from Picard, to Viola Davis, using only female actresses.
Oh, now you're throwing
I'm throwing
hurdles
some fun
at
in
people.
There. I'm throwing some fun in there, and it can be done. And it can be done with some of my favorite movies, too, and some of the worst movies ever made.
Waterworld?
No. That at least had Waterworld. It was
that one.
bad, but this one's got a bad movie in it.
Oh, that Ben Affleck J-Lo movie. That was terrible.
Actually, I deliberately skipped putting that one in here. There was an option to put Geely in here, which was
Well, I mean, the starting point I was going to use was Suicide Squad.
if you want to use Suicide Squad, you certainly can because you'd be the only person who's seen it, I think.
No, I've seen that because I've always had a thing since the comic books for Harley
Realistically,
Quinn.
the plot of the movie was fine.
Yeah,
It's just that the way they cut the movie together, they changed the tone of the movie halfway through shoot. Well, no, after they finished primary shooting, they changed the tone of the movie because they realized the target audience thought the original version was too dry.
They changed it halfway through because Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out at the same time, did really well, and everybody copies each other.
Well, they actually did like test screenings before they did the like final version of the movie for the theatrical release, and then they realized that showing people. Well, what they did was they cut together a clip reel with literally every single joke that they had filmed up to that point, and showed that, and then a regular movie trailer, and realized that people liked the clip reel better than the actual movie trailer they'd put together.
Yeah.
So they went back and hastily added a few things that don't flow well, but other than the flow and pacing issues, I thought it was good.
I was watching it on an airplane, which is probably not the ideal way to watch it, but it was meh. And I'm glad I got to watch it for free if you consider a $400 airplane ticket as being free. I am looking across from
$400 airplane clip. They should freaking give you a better movie.
I was flying to Singapore. $400 was cheap. Allison Pill to Viola Davis. Using only women. Okay, we still haven't finished Majel Barrett to Gene Hackman, which means time to whip out my IMDb foo.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see which way we want to go. Majel Barrett's the harder one, so let's start with her.
Like I said, I think your best point with her is something like Babylon 5 to Animal House, and that gives you a lot more options.
Well, I'm skipping anything related to Star Trek, Family Guy. Okay, she was in Earth Final Conflict.
That was a bad movie.
She was in Diagnosis Murder. Oh, I know which one she was in.
Conflict wasn't a movie; it was a TV series.
It could be a TV series.
4 seasons.
You can do a TV series if you want to. She was in Babylon 5.
Earth Final Conflict was a...
She was in Teresa's Tattoo. She was in Suicide Wife, The Next Step Beyond. That was a really bad series. Don't watch that. She was in The Quester Tapes. Oh my God, The Quester Tapes. She was in Westworld.
The original Yul Brynner.
Yeah. Hold on. Who are we trying to go
movie.
to? We're trying to get to Gene Hackman. Let's go to Westworld.
Yeah, let's go to Westworld.
Well, that
Westworld
gets-
sounds fun.
Right, we've got James Brolin, Richard Benjamin, and Yul Brynner. Those are 3 big names in there. You want to pick one of them? Yeah, she's right in there. Pick a name. We're trying to link over to Gene Hackman, who's in a ton of movies.
Let's go to Yul Brynner.
So Yul Brynner, you could go to the King and I, couldn't you?
We could, but that might not be our best link, so we have to think about this. He was in a ton of stuff.
I would go Magnificent 7 with Yul Brynner.
Let us think about that one. Magnificent 7. Let's see if we've got a link. We're trying to get to Gene Hackman. We've got Yul Brynner, Eli Wallach, Steve McQueen, Horst Buchholz, Charles Bronson, Robert Vaughn, James Coburn.
Oh, Coburn sounds good.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I think Coburn might go to Hackman better.
Got 2 more, so let's see if we can do this. We've got Coburn, who was in a ton of movies.
Yeah.
But was
He's
he
got to
in?
be in one with him.
You would think. You would think.
They both
Either-
played Gang
either-
Street eyebrows as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or Bronson, because I would think Bronson did something with Clint Eastwood. I think Coburn did something with Eastwood too.
Well,
Yeah,
what
he
has Gene Hackman been in? So let's think about going backwards on that
Gene
one.
Hackman, I'm going to go Unforgiven to Clint Eastwood.
Okay, so let's see.
Yeah, you'd have
we're
to,
thinking
because
James
Clint Eastwood
Coburn.
was in war films,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Okay,
So
so
you'd get
hold
the
it.
Second World War films on the Navy and things like that. It's got to be something along the lines
Yeah.
unit on there.
Well, hold on. We can
Yeah.
go to Steve McQueen, and we want to get to Gene Hackman through Steve McQueen. So, what was your link you were thinking of?
I was thinking with Clint Eastwood. Gene Hackman was with Clint Eastwood in The Unforgiven, which Clint Eastwood's been in a ton of stuff, and there's a good chance
Was
going
Steve
like
McQueen
there.
in with anything with Clint Eastwood?
I don't know.
We got there somehow, didn't we?
Yeah, we got to figure
Through
this
the
one out.
Magnificent
I don't know
Seven,
how you
wasn't it?
got. I know how you went to Steve McQueen, so that's
Well,
why.
I went back from James Coburn. Was James Coburn in anything with Steve? With
Clint Eastwood. Let's find out.
okay. It's easy
Google
when I'm the
time.
one putting it together. James Coburn was in a ton of movies, but with Clint Eastwood, that's a good question.
Fistful of Dollars, apparently.
They were both in Fistful of Dollars?
Apparently,
Yeah,
that's what.
Lee Marvin, Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, and Clint Eastwood.
Well, there you go then. That would be it. Oh, but that goes
There you-
back a ways. But yes, that can be done.
Oh, hang
Anything
on,
can
there's
be done.
another one. Something called Treko Kura Crew or something. Man, they were young then.
Yes,
Wow,
yes, they were.
that was a long time ago.
Everybody was young once.
Yeah.
Well, that scared me, looking at the actors you've been mentioning from that I used to like from Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine. I didn't think that was that long ago, but obviously it was.
Yeah, it was. Let's all
There's
feel
some-
old.
Oh, actually, James Coburn was originally up for Clint Eastwood's role, but he was
Really?
too expensive. Yeah.
Ooh, wow. That does
And
go
Charles
back ways.
Bronson actually turned down the role of the Man with No Name too.
Wow.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood took his role in Fistful of Dollars.
Charles Bronson at one point in time was basically constantly doing films. Like,
So was James Coburn. So was Clint Eastwood. That's kind of
Well,
why.
Charles
Yeah.
Bronson. Charles Bronson was really kind of typically. He played the Mexican-y kind of role in the westerns, didn't
Yep.
Yeah.
Skyfall says you could connect through Steve to Towering Inferno to Poseidon Adventure to Hackman if you count directors. Actually, you could do it directly that way. That works. Just have to get to Towering Inferno. All right, we are at 250.
You can connect Gene Hackman through Twilight that had Louis Arquette in it, who was in Babylon 5.
Wow.
he? Oh, well done.
All right, we've had nobody taking on the Violus to.
So that's-
That was a tough one because Alison Pill is not in a ton of stuff. So let's try somebody from original series. Let's see who I've got here. Or maybe not. Let's see. I've got them on 3 different screens, so you have to bear with me a little bit here. Tell you what, let's do a Enterprise one. Connor Trenier
Okay.
to Leonardo DiCaprio.
I gotta look up something here.
This one gets way out of range, so you might not know this one. And this is what I said was a problem when you deal with a lot of actors who are not well known here. They're in a lot of TV shows and tons of voiceovers and tons of cartoons. But if we leave the cartoons and the voiceovers in, well, everybody's in everything.
Connor Trenier to who?
Connor Trenier to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. I'm working on it.
I actually don't remember him being in any other than that.
Yeah,
That
that's
westerny one. It was a western with him in it.
actually this
remember
is a
one of them.
sci-fi show that Connor Trenier is in.
All right, a Day to Die, I think it was called.
A Day to Die. I don't know that one at all.
Yeah, he was in one. It was pretty good, actually.
Well, the first link I've got for this one is sliders. See if you can go from there.
Actually, I think I have one here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm making sure here, but I'm going to go through. Connor Chenier guest starred in NCIS with Lauren Harley. They actually had scenes together to make that even more valid.
Wow.
Now, I'm trying to see if Lauren Holly has a direct connection to Leonardo DiCaprio right now. That's what I was looking up. Because apparently it might have been in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm just checking that out. Which apparently, if not, I will find another one through that one.
Oh, okay. Frost came up with Majel was in The Buccaneer with E.G. Marshall, and E.G. Marshall was in Superman 2 with Gene Hackman. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, Gene Hackman. He played Lex Luthor of all
Yes,
people.
he played Lex Luthor. He was also Popeye Doyle in The French Connection 2, which is where I was trying to go with it, with Roy Scheider, who is in tons of stuff.
Yep.
See, why did he do that? They changed the name for America. America has different names for movies sometimes. What's that about?
It's because a lot of names just
Pray
don't
for
work.
death over there. Pray for death.
Yeah.
That's
was
what
it
he was
over
in.
there?
Actually, I think it was changed to go overseas, but that's...
Well, it goes both ways. There was an English movie that was based on a French book that was, the book was named Whiskey A Go-Go, meaning whiskey aplenty, but they didn't think that was an appropriate name, so they renamed it The Tight Little Island. And I'm thinking, that's not better, guys. That is not a better
Well,
name.
On the DVD, it was a Day to Die. It was called
Wow.
over here. Just shows
You want to hear a funny story
Sure.
regarding movie translations and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
You know the movie Cruel Intentions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was translated to, the country I live in, to sex games.
What?
Doesn't make any sense because it's so far away from Danish. It's just like Cruel Intentions. Okay,
Wait a minute.
let's make it.
But you don't live in a country.
Oh, that's right. I live in a fantasy world. Yeah, I know. Narnia.
Not Perry White, Mar
Doesn't make-
Hawkman. I don't think he was Perry White. Oh, maybe he was. Yeah.
E.G. Marshall, Greater Candle said he was the editor of the paper. And
Oh, I guess he was Perry White then. My bad. My bad. I didn't remember him being in that role. I thought it was somebody else. But hey, it's been a long time since I've seen Superman 2.
If you're looking at all
No,
of
I'm
the
sorry. He
Superman
played the president. I apologize.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I didn't think
okay.
it was Perry White, but hey,
Didn't they actually have more than one newspaper when you get to like Superman 4 or something like that?
Okay, I got it.
okay.
Whatever.
Ready for this? We
Sure.
wanted... Okay. Connor Chenier was in NCIS with Lauren Holly. Lauren Holly was also in it. Was in NCIS with... we'll just go with freaking... what's his... I can't remember the lead actor's name off the top of my head. Mark Harmon. Mark Harmon did on NCIS... Guest star in NCIS was Jamie Lunar, who was in Growing Pains, who also had Leonardo DiCaprio.
Whoa. I had Connor Chenier was in Sliders with Carrie Werr, who was in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, a terrible movie, with Morris Day, who was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, another terrible movie, with Ben Affleck, who was in Daredevil, another terrible movie, with Jon Favreau, who was in Wolf of Wall Street, another terrible movie, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Did you say Ford Fairlane is a bad movie?
I said Ford
The Adventures
Fairlane
of
is a
Ford.
bad movie. Ooh.
The Dustman's going to come over and start talking about nursery rhymes with you.
Hey, we're going to close this one out.
Took over. Sorry.
I'm going to kick everybody out of chat we're going to be talking with Nick from Cryptic in just a few minutes. He's off grabbing something to eat. Hopefully I can make this work out right, so please, no criticisms about my lack of technical skills, because we already know I'm a technological idiot. That I could get it hooked up this far should be a minor miracle.
Do you need me to get on Skype?
Yeah, actually that might not be bad. Hopefully this will all work.
Okay.
Yeah, just crossing fingers. Okay, guys, I'm going to move you all off this, and we'll come back in a little bit. So you guys can stay up there, but I'm going to move me and DT down to the other place. Let's see.
Yeah.
Mom's office.
Mom's office. Bye-bye. Pi, do you want to join us?
I just wanted to make sure it works.
It works just fine. You can stay here. I was just moving you over here if you wanted to join us.
Yeah, I'm testing the other computer, so hopefully everything works. I just kind of removed everything to just one drive to see if I can get rid of the bugs.
Well, I'm just such an idiot when it comes to this stuff, so hopefully I've got it all put together correctly, everyone.
Yeah.
And while we are waiting here, let me jump over here. Yes?
Mom?
Yes?
People can still hear you on stream. You might want to remove your mic.
No, that's fine if they hear me on stream. Okay. I don't mind telling people I'm an idiot. I think they already know that when it comes to technology.
She is the Antichrist of technology. Sorry.
I am the Antichrist of technology. So, like I said, hopefully this will all work.
By the way, did you see the new donation message I made, or a donation sound I made?
Yes, I did hear the new donation sound you made. When you made a donation, I heard that. And I said, Pi has made a donation.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I covered it up at the moment because we're going to hopefully be able to do this as a camera for those of you who don't realize what an idiot I am. It took me 3 days to figure out how to put the camera on this, and I still don't know that this is going to work. So crossing fingers, guys.
Yeah.
It should work.
Actually. Yeah, well. Okay.
It seems fairly easy. Just add an NDI source, and then you go into Streamlabs and add an NDI source.
Already done that. It's all set up. It's just, does it actually work? And DT and I ran it. And hopefully it'll still work.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
Yes, we will find out. So, for those of you who are wondering, I suppose I could run a commercial. But we've run a lot of commercials today, but it's the middle of the afternoon, so here, have a commercial. We'll do the It's So You commercial, and I'll turn down the sound, I promise.
Well, I will say, Mom, if I keep getting the bugs on this computer, I'm going to start pulling memory modules, even though they all tested right.
Hey, DT, you're on microphones.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, just letting you know. I'm going to turn it off. Hi, everybody. Can you hear us now? Thank you, Musin. I appreciate that. Yeah, we can hear each other, but we couldn't hear you, which is okay. We're just talking smack about everybody.
Right. Those STO players. Don't get me started.
I told them they all have to be nice and not say rude things today because we're not going there. And it's okay to ask questions, but no bad words. No talking bad stuff. So, I know you can't tell us stuff that's coming up in the game, but what's going on in the game? I've really enjoyed what's come out since April with the Year of Klingon.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I understand you were involved in New Romulus, yes?
That was mostly me on the environment side.
Okay, New Romulus is my absolute favorite place. As you can tell, this is my home away from home. I've got my lovely Romulan.
The Romulan bridge was done by somebody else.
I know the Romulan bridge,
who
but
did that at that point.
Yeah, whoever's put those out there for something this year was great. We have all the bridges. But I love playing on New Romulus. It is my absolute favorite, and I was so heartbroken when we couldn't get the little mini missions anymore that I created a second account just so I can share the mini missions with my main account. Yeah, I know. That's the long way around to get those things back, but they were fun.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, they are fun.
They are, but more than that, I love the actual aesthetics of it. It's one of the better world maps that we've got in the game.
Well, we spent a long time building it.
Clearly.
This was years and years ago now, of course, but yeah, we there was a lot of pre-planning that went into doing the layout and figuring out where things were going to go and what we were going to, put where, and trying to make a more expansive adventure zone than we had really done previously. I guess Nimbus already existed at that point, but we hadn't. There's not a lot there.
Well, Nimbus isn't bad. But I don't think it's got the diversity of environments that you've got here with New Romulus, especially when you go from Peos Crater down to the Atli, and I adore the Atli. That's my Sunday thing, used to just be hanging out there, nice and quiet. Good music, very pleasant. So what have you been working on?
Well, I'm working on Redacted right now, which I can't talk about.
That's okay. Don't tell us anything secret. We don't want to get anyone in trouble.
In terms of things that you've seen, the most recent is New Khitomer. That was mostly me too, rebuilding all that.
Love how that map came out.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun to rebuild. It was a lot of work, but I think it paid off, and it's been cool. Not just rebuilding an old map, but actually trying to set kind of Klingon aesthetic standards for whatever the 2410s are, since we didn't have that really. We tried to push it more than just, it's very easy to fall back on all of the dirty industrial, TOS movies and TNG Klingons, it kind of in the early days where everything is red and dark and grungy, but this was a conference center, right? This is a very fancy diplomatic kind of place, and I'm always interested in knowing more about the other sides of Klingon culture that are not the submarine warriors, because there has to be somebody that's making the technology and healing people and doing the diplomatic things too.
Yeah, it can't all be warriors fighting all the time.
Yeah. And we've seen that a couple times on the show. One of my favorites is, I can't even remember his name, but there was an episode of Enterprise where they meet a Klingon scientist, and that was one of my favorite depictions of Klingons ever.
Yes.
And so I'm always interested in seeing more of that. So this was kind of a chance to bring Klingonness into the diplomatic, fancy kind of world.
Well, we had a discussion, my son and his roommate and I were discussing this the other day, about there has to be another culture behind the one that we see in the series and in the game. And so I mentioned part of what I was working on was going down to Lady Sorella's estate. And you see the farmers there, and you begin to realize that there's got to be that aspect of the culture too. There's got to be, as you said, the healers. There's got to be the people like me who push papers around for a living. But it kind of gets lost in the game. Well, nothing personal, but it gets lost in the game. It gets lost in the series.
Well, the game is is very much about fighting things, and so that's what you see.
Yeah, but as we were discussing today, something that everybody seems to enjoy is the exploration aspect of the game, as well as the map exploration, just hiking around and seeing what's out there. And so when we get these big maps, New Romulus being one of them, to a huge extent, Nimbus, DT. What else am I missing there? Pavo actually isn't bad.
Bajor is a place to wander around, at least.
Actually had some fun with Bajor. I was trying to show Ryza, yes. Ryza. Definitely love Ryza, obviously. So I was at Bajor and decided to go back and look at the Simi side of Bajor with the, what I call the Las Vegas side in Jabberwocky. And then I realized it's not Las Vegas, it's more like the downtown Pittsburgh, because there's a couple of neon signs here, and it's a little dirty over there. Yeah. But for as often as I go to Vegas, it doesn't have the flash and splash of Vegas.
And it was intended. I mean, it's the mirror universe, so it's intended to be a little darker than Vegas is.
It too, definitely.
Right? Like it's not. It's not. It's Vegas in terms of the lights, but it's not. Well, it's not a happy, fun place.
Yeah, it is the antithesis.
I tend with the lighting in the rain keep thinking Blade Runner, but that's...
No, absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like the fact that it does do a little bit of an homage to that. And a lot of the episodes have got little touches of other things coming into it. What is the TFO that's got the missiles coming up a la Starship Troopers?
Peril over Pavo.
Peril over Pavo, thank you. And, of course, we've got the 300 kick in Brushfire and in Uneasy Allies. So nice little touches that we really enjoy.
The game devs definitely, I mean, we're all products of kind of the same, roughly the same eras, and we've all, products of the same kind of nerd fandoms and things. And so it's very easy to fall into, putting in little nods to the things that you love.
Oh, absolutely.
And we try. I mean, it's good to do that, to a degree, because the players will find it too, and then they'll find that kind of little smirking, nod thing. It's just bad when it gets over the top, or when it gets, too much, or we're doing too many of them, or something.
The wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah. I agree, but it's kind of lovely to find the little pieces here and there. And even today, when people were pointing out little things I'd never noticed, and I'll have to go back and play that one again. DT, I don't mean to dominate the conversation here.
No, that's all right. Like I mean, I'm here. I'm here to help, and the fact is, I've been dealing with PC issues.
Oh, well, glad you're here.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, to make this really fun, doing this on 12 weeks' notice from when they officially canceled or postponed the convention. And we had this idea going into it because we suspected that was what was going to happen. But there's a little bit of a difference between we're postponing it to we're going to do our own convention. Let's put it all together 6 weeks. Let's put on a show in the barn, guys. That kind of concept. And got permission or asked permission through your PR person, and all of a sudden Kel's saying, well, can we help you out with this? You've got our permission, but, what can we do? And now I'm like, I don't know. I just work here, guys. I'm an idiot. I play the game and I talk over it all the time, and that's it. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Sarah and STO and Twitch both just crashed on you. Sorry to hear that. Of course, if it crashed, you can't hear that. So, on a personal level, and you can't tell us what you're working on, of the things you have done, what have you enjoyed the most?
Oh, God.
That was a question I was about to ask.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can ask it now. Go ahead.
Well, technically, we just did.
Damn her, I worked with her long enough, she reads my mind.
It's really hard to pick, favorites or anything. I think the things that I enjoy the most are the larger projects, the things that take a lot of moving parts together to make happen, to see to fruition. I don't mind making missions and things, that's fine, but spending a week on a map, or or spending 3-6 months on a map is a very different thing. And so the large projects, New Romulus, Earth Space Dock, DS9, even Khitomer to a degree was really a big undertaking to redo that. And so those are the things that I really get into, is when I can spend the time to really push things further than we normally get to push them in a standard mission, or when we get to set the standards for the architecture, or even when we get to, like, I really love recreating things from the show. I mean, doing the TNG interior, doing DS9.
DS9 was awesome.
It's a very different process to make something from scratch than it is to take it from the show, but they are both a lot of work, and they're just very different. Like, one, I have to pay all of my attention over here, and the other I have to pay all my attention over there, but it's still just as much attention spent on all of it. So, yeah.
Is there any aspect of the game that you personally enjoy? Do you play it? First of all, I should ask that.
I will admit I don't really play.
Oh.
I have characters, I have played in the past, and my dev character, I think, is still only level 50 because we don't play on our dev characters, right? We get them into the game at one point, and you just give yourself a bunch of items, and then that's it. But you're not actually playing on your dev account. If you're playing at all, you're playing on a private account, which you wouldn't know running around. You wouldn't be able to tell who's who. And so, no, I don't really play. And there's a couple of things for that. One, for me, I am an explorational gamer by nature. I like to explore a world and find those little nooks and crannies and Easter eggs and things like that. That's primarily where I derive my enjoyment. I played World of Warcraft this was a vanilla WoW, and I played to 59.5 and quit. I didn't even make it to 60 because I had already seen everything, and I was like, well, there's nothing else to do. The advancement is not why I play. So playing being an explorational gamer, I can't explore the spaces that I've made. Like, I already know where everything is. There's no enjoyment there in that respect, right? There's still plenty of enjoyment, playing and shooting things and advancing a character and all that, but it's just not the same. And then on top of that, just knowing how the sausage is made, it's really difficult to play your own game when you can't look at anything without seeing the flaws and feeling compelled to fix them. And it's just a really difficult thing to play a game that you are actively working on. Even playing games that are made in the studio. I mean, the Magic alpha is going well. It just ended for a little bit. They're doing these kind of spurts of Magic alpha testing, and I've been playing through that, and that's a ton of fun. It's great playing a game that I don't work on, but even then, I still know who made those things, and I still, feel like when I spot something, I have to go tell somebody, and so it's just a very difficult thing for me to do. I know some people really get into it, and I think a lot of the people that do really play the game a lot are the people that we've hired out of the community. Bordicus, Jet, Thomas to a degree, people that were playing the game already and were already into it before they became devs.
If I can ask, how did you get into doing this?
I went to, so long ago, when I was very little, when I was about 3 or 5, something like that, I started making plastic models, and somebody, I was a big Star Wars fan at the time. This was in 85 or 86, something like that. And I was making plastic models, and somebody told me about ILM and that you could, make models for a living. And I thought, well, that sounds really cool. I want to do that when I grow up. So my goal from the time of being 5 years old until graduating high school and going into college was to become a model maker for ILM. And I wanted to do special effects for movies, essentially. And in 1993, a movie called Jurassic Park came out, and the dinosaurs were largely CG. I mean, not all of them. There were certainly some, static models still, but it was very obvious that computers were kind of where things were going.
Mm-hmm.
And so I shifted my focus at that point. I still wanted to work on movies and do special effects for movies and do model making and things, but I started focusing on computers for that. And so by the time I went to college, this was 98, I found a college here just up the road here in Sunnyvale called Cogswell, which was a small art and tech school that had a computer graphics degree program, bachelor degree. So I went to Cogswell intending to do special effects for movies, and I did that through senior year, or through junior year, and then in the beginning of my senior year, a friend of mine told me that he was starting a game club. They were going to make video games, and asked if I wanted to make models for them. And I was always looking for ways to work on things outside of classwork. I was always just working on side projects, and I was just looking for anything to model. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll make models for games, whatever. It's, similar process. And that just became it then. So I just got sucked into games through that. And that was, like I said, that was my senior year. And after graduating, I couldn't find a job in the industry in games. And so I worked at Borders Books and Music in Sunnyvale. And I kept, even though I had graduated school, I kept working at Game Club on their games for a couple of years. And so that was 2002 that I graduated. And then in 2005, at the beginning of 2005, my friend and former classmate, Jeff Jenkins, was working at Cryptic on City of Heroes. And he was leaving. And he told a couple of us from Game Club about this job that was going to open up doing environment art for City of Heroes. And I applied, and I heard nothing back. And then another friend of mine named Mike Apollos, who was also in Game Club at the time, also applied, ended up getting the job. And he was working on Neverwinter until just earlier this year, late last year, something like that, and then left. So he'd been here longer than me. And Mike applied, got the job in early 2005. And a couple months later, he said, "Hey, we have another opening. You should reapply." And I kept being like, no. They clearly didn't want me. I applied, and they sent nothing back. And eventually he wore me down, and I gave him my stuff to pass along. And apparently the art director at the time said, "Hey, we saw this stuff a couple months ago. We tried to hire him. What happened?" And apparently the person responsible at the time had lost my number. It's a good thing that I reapplied.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike, for forcing me to reapply. And I got the job the second time.
Yes, thank you, Mike. We appreciate that.
This was end of April, early May of 2005. And I've been here since.
Wow.
So I started on City of Heroes and then have worked on other things throughout. But
perseverance and a bit of somebody else kicking in the butt.
Well, there's a large part of the game industry, and probably all industries, that is who you know.
Yes.
And there's a large part of everything in life that is just luck. And
also true.
And I benefited from both those things with this.
So then you're telling me that you're not a Star Trek nerd.
No,
Trekkie.
I'm sorry. I skipped over the whole Star Trek part.
Okay.
Because I wanted to work for ILM because that was who had been doing Star Wars, and that's what I knew at the time. So that was it when I was about 5. And at 5, 6 years old, 85, 86, I would watch the original series with my dad. My dad was a Star Trek fan.
Good for him.
And he would, we had, I don't think we even had cable at that point. It was just whatever came over the airwaves to our little, a screen that's smaller than this one, color TV, though. It was color.
Ooh, I had black and white.
And, well, we had black and white at my mom's house, but my dad had a color TV. It was probably a 13-inch screen, and we would sit on his bed and we'd watch TOS, and I thought it was the most horrible thing in the world. I was like, this is just boring. They're all overacting. They're all just like, this is dumb. Why is he rolling on the ground? Like, it just made no sense to me, and I didn't jive. But then like literally the next year or two is when TNG started, and my dad was very excited for a new Star Trek, and so we started watching together. And he quickly lost interest, but that was my jam then. So
Wow.
So I watched all of TNG from the start, and then all of DS9, and then all of Voyager, and then all of Enterprise. So TNG is where it got started. Well, TOS is where it got started, but TNG is what hooked me.
Interesting.
So I have been a Star Trek fan since being very little, but TOS at the time was not it. I have since rewatched all of TOS, and I enjoyed it thoroughly with the adult sense of humor, of corniness and camp and just everything that is TOS. I appreciate it now. It just didn't click with a 5-year-old for some reason.
Well, I started watching it the first time around. I won't say how old I was, but wasn't that young. And liked it, but I was a little kid. Then I saw it again in my teen years in syndication and did the cringe thing, and just recently went back to seeing TOS again and appreciating it a little bit differently with the benefit of a few years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I actually got TNG'd more than anything else.
Yeah. I rewatched TOS when we got the license, when we found out that we had the Star Trek license from Perpetual. Mm-hmm. That's when I was like, okay, I should probably go rewatch things. And I wasn't on the project or anything. It was just it rekindled all of those feelings of my love of Star Trek, which had waned after Enterprise, because there was no more Star Trek after that. So
I understand that. One of the things I really enjoyed recently not recently, but in Star Trek Online was when they brought in the Agents of Yesteryear, and so many of the visuals are from the original series, especially, I don't know where it is in California, but the Sideways Mountains that were iconic in more than a few episodes.
Vasquez Rocks, yep, that's just north side of LA.
That was just such a moment of pulling all of my history and all my memories back into the game.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to work on, was making things TOS-y again. That was me and Adam Flores and Scott, who's still my lead on Star Trek. Adam has left since then, and David Lopez, who's now the lead environment on Neverwinter. And I actually Edrin, which is what we dubbed the planet that was never named, where Vasquez Rocks, for the Gorn planet. That was me and Adam Flores. So I made the formation initially, and I made a material for the rocks that was not very good, and then Adam made a new material for the rocks and did a bunch more work all around it. Oh. So collaborative effort there.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun to make. For sure.
It's really fun to go back there and play it, except when we're doing minor instabilities. But that's a different story. That's a different story. If you want to see something terrible, watch us play that.
On Elite.
On Elite, yes. It was a surprise. The joy of random TFOs. Musin has a question, and you may not be the person to answer it. It is T6 California class when, before or after T6 Oberth, excuse me. I don't know if you're a person who can answer that.
Even if I knew the answers, I probably couldn't answer that. No, I mean, we don't tell people about ships and things that are coming unless they're actually announced, which you would know about already.
I wouldn't know. No, I get blindsided. People in the game are like, didn't you read the blog?
No. But presumably the person who's asking about the T6 Oberth and California class would probably be paying attention to those things. So, no, I don't know the answer.
He says it's a meme question. Okay, fine. Thank you, Musin.
Basically, any T6 question is going to be kind of memey. I think people all know that we can't answer those kind of questions anyway, but they still ask them because
of course they do.
They want their T6 ships. That's understandable.
I am the least ship tech savvy person out there. My fleet got together and bought me a jellyfish, which I have taken out of the box, but haven't started playing with yet.
Actually, I got one for you. I know there's time limits on a lot of stuff, but what was probably the most involved in game time-wise project that you've done so far?
I would have to look at the schedule to tell for sure. DS9 was definitely months and months and months of work. And that was, again, largely... not to say that nobody else worked on it, but that was almost entirely me. Wow. There were a couple people who contributed assets and things, but the vast majority of the work was on me for that. And honestly, it started as a personal vendetta against the old DS9 map. It had bugged me so badly that I was just modeling it myself.
Wow.
At home, and at some point, I think Al Gecko mentioned that, we might want to do something with DS9, and I was like, hey, I've got this thing that I basically already made for you guys. And it wasn't like it was all done, but I had almost a complete white box of the Promenade.
Wow.
So I had everything laid out. At least it wasn't like it was finished modeling. It didn't have materials or anything, but at least the spaces were there, which made it, easy to kind of run from that point. And at one point, we essentially we had problems with production at the time where producers weren't necessarily keeping tabs on me as well as they should have been, and I wasn't checking in with people as much as I should have been, and so that became a couple months of me just working and not thinking about it, and nobody really realizing that I was just working without anybody checking on me. And so at some point they were like, this is taking a long time to make all of this stuff. We have to cut things to get this in. And so they were going to cut ops, and we were just going to use the original ops from the old map paired with the Promenade. And that I didn't have a breakdown, but I was like, I can't deal with that. So I basically built ops on my own time. I would spend time afterwards and on weekends coming in to make ops happen, because I couldn't bear to have you go from the brand new Promenade into the old ops, which is drastically wrong.
It's a TARDIS. It's a TARDIS on DS9.
Well, it's not even I don't mind the TARDIS. We have to make things bigger. As much as people complain about the scale of things, and certainly they're not wrong about very early interiors were way oversized for reasons that I don't even know. But even the things that you think look correct in game are already 50% bigger than they would be in real life, just because your camera is not inside of your face. Your camera is behind you,
yes,
and generally above you, and in order for that to feel appropriate, it has to be bigger. If we make it the real size, it feels very claustrophobic.
It already feels claustrophobic to me after being so used to that giant DS9 for years.
Sure. The DS9 was we had a battle and kind of went back and forth a couple times on the size of it, and I agree that from a gameplay standpoint, it probably is too tight. But I was so hyper focused on just making it look right that's where my mind was. So I fought for that. So if you think that it's too tight, that's my fault, and I will totally cop to that.
Actually, I think it's amazing. It's probably one of my favorite places to be around right now.
Well, thank you. I think that there is a spectrum of opinions on things.
Oh, I'm just claustrophobic. It's got nothing to do with the game or how you set it up. I'm here in this huge room here all by myself, and it's like cozy. I'm just realizing how much I talk with my hands. All right.
Okay.
So, since you don't play Star Trek Online in your spare time like some of us do, obviously some of us do, outside of the world...
It's weird of you to have a Star Trek convention talking to Star Trek Online devs without ever having bought a booth to rep our game without actually playing our game. That would be weird.
Yeah. Hey, like I told somebody, I can't remember who I said it to, the reason we do the booth is because 3 years ago we went there and I was blown away by the game, and even though I'd been playing since end of beta, and I'm like, I need to let them know who we are. So we do the booth because I wanted to suck up to you guys. Honesty.
Yeah. I don't know how I got dragged into this whole thing.
You volunteered. You volunteered 2 years ago.
You're right, I did.
Yeah, see, all on you. But so now it's a major thing for us to do Vegas, and as I said, this year we'll probably be there in December if they don't change it.
Yeah.
But I'm still hedging bets on that one.
Yeah. I would be surprised if it happens, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm living in Indiana now, and they just took us back one phase, so we're back to wearing face masks in offices. And if you want to have fun, try wearing a face mask while you're doing bookkeeping, because you're fogging up your glasses, you can't talk to anybody around you. So are you guys working strictly from home, or do you have any in-office time?
No, we're all working from home still. Santa Clara County hasn't opened up businesses. They opened restaurants for outdoor dining and bars, I think, for outdoor seating or something. I can't remember exactly what is open, but the vast majority of businesses are still closed in Santa Clara County. And there's a small contingent that is in the office and has been from the start, and it's basically just IT to keep everything running.
Okay.
And so we all work from home, and the plan is that even when Santa Clara does lift it and people are technically allowed in the office, no one's going to be forced to go in. It's basically, if you would rather be in the office than at home, you can be, with some training and some approvals and all that. But nobody's going to be forced to be there. And I'm guessing that even the people that want to, it's probably going to start off with a couple days a week, in and then a couple days out. I think not that we like it, but I think everybody's kind of gotten used to working from home now that we've been doing it for several months.
Yeah, I was going to say we've been at it 5 months, and while I go into my office every day, most of the people there only go in once or twice a week. So
yeah.
So now I get to that point of how has this changed the culture if we're all getting used to working from home and having a different world?
Yeah.
Which is obviously a bigger philosophical question, but I hope that this has been something in terms of getting more people involved in the game, because now our social life revolves a lot around our computers and our telephones. Have you seen any upswing in numbers of people playing? It sure looks like the maps are busier than heck.
I probably can't talk numbers, but yeah, I think, it's safe to say that video games are doing well right now.
I would hope so.
And we are amongst that.
Yeah.
We're trying to be responsible with that, right? Great power comes with great responsibility and all that. I just mean trying not to be exploitive of the situation, but also, trying to serve the people that are stuck at home and are looking for escape and, happen to like Star Trek.
It does seem that a lot more new and different things have come out since the lockdown has begun. Certainly the Year of Klingon coming out has been awesome and fantastic, and thank you so much for that. But I've also seen different things coming out for approaches for Mud's Market and how they merchandise things and sales and things like that. And was this always not that I want you to tell us anything you can't tell us, but was this always planned, or is this to some extent a reaction to the lockdown?
The Year of the Klingon has certainly been planned and been worked on since at least the very end of last year. So that has all been coming down the pike anyway. I don't know about particular sales or Mud's Market or that's all handled on the design side of things. I don't really have anything to do with that. So we do have we can react in the way that we put things on sale or in the things that we offer for sale. Obviously we can't just invent a new ship or something out of nothingness, right? That all takes time to make. So
yes.
if it's a new product, then that has been in the works for some amount of time, at least a couple weeks, usually probably months.
I didn't mean to go into anything specific. I just meant that it seems that there has been a bit of a kick of creativity coming out, just maybe from the lockdown, or maybe this was always planned.
It's possible. I just don't know the answer to that. That's just so far outside. That's outside my area of work, even when we're all in the office together, and it's even harder to keep track of other departments when we don't even share the same building anymore, right? So I don't know.
Well, as I said, it wasn't intended as a criticism. It's been awesome to see all this new stuff, ideas, new experiments coming out. And certainly has, unfortunately, made me spend a lot more money than I intended to this year. But
Sorry about that.
No, that was cool. Legendary ships were definitely worth the money, even though most of them are still in the box. I am the worst at unboxing
Speak
ships.
for yourself.
Well, DT, of course, has his out. Yeah, I'm good on delayed gratification. Does anyone out there in Chatland have any questions? Okay. I'm sorry, DT, what were you asking?
I said, yeah, you're some sort of mutant that you can't go for that shit. I can wait. 6 months later, I can still wait.
When I show everybody the ship, I want it to look right.
Oh, okay.
No, I got the jellyfish from DT and the others in the fleet, and I bought myself a La Serena, which is still in the box and hasn't been touched yet. One of these days. I actually get off on the ground missions much more than the Space Pew Pew, and I'm definitely not a Space Barbies girl. So
Do you have a favorite ship?
Pardon?
Do you have a favorite ship?
Maybe. I like the Morgu. I like the Alliance Battlecruiser. I really love my Astika, or however you say it. Okay. And the old Danos from the Romulans. I love that thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, so pretty.
Paul?
Well, I tend to be. Well, I'm kind of TNG. I tend to like the Galaxy, the Sovereign.
What about you? Do you have a favorite ship?
On the Romulan side, I'm a Valdor person. I like the big wings. On the Fed side, I actually like the Nova probably the most of any ship, just design wise. I mean, I'm an aesthetics person, so I'm not talking about like BOF seating and powers and consoles and all that stuff, right? I'm just talking about the design of the ships. So the Nova has always been kind of had a place in my heart. I don't really know why. It seems small and kind of scrappy, and then I don't know. I like the cutout on the nose. I don't like the Rhode Island as much as I like the Nova itself, or the Equinox, I guess.
Yeah, the old Defiant prototype, if I recall its origins.
Yeah, Frost says Vanguard Carrier. Yes, Vanguard Carrier is very nice too.
Yeah.
Hey, I did want to say something. A couple arcs that have come out that have been just stunningly well done. We were playing a game earlier called Epic or Epic Fail, where we went through the story arcs to discuss aspects that we enjoyed and didn't enjoy. And obviously the whole Gamma Quadrant was freaking brilliant. Everybody I know loves that one. And
glad you like it.
Yes, obviously Quark's Lucky 7 is just a joy. But the whole arc was really exceptionally well done. And just an absolute thrill. It's like post-Delta Rising, you guys have been stepping up the game and coming up with more creative, more original, more aesthetically pleasing, more interactive aspects to the game that have just been better and better. So when this last episode came out, and I can't spoil it because not everybody's played it yet.
Yeah.
But it was a total WTF moment at the end of it, going, "Oh, come on, next episode, please."
I wish we. I'll do my best not to spoil things, but I wish we could. There's as much as I enjoy our format and what we can do with it, the fact that we are a persistent MMO and not just a story-based game means that there are things that we cannot do, such as what should be happening to you after that mission, right? We can't do that because you have to be able to go back and check the exchange and do check your mail and do but I wish we could push things that much further to the point where now you really are in that situation, right?
That would actually be absolutely fascinating, but no.
Yeah, but okay, I got one here because I'm guessing people have watched Picard. Spoiler point: we're gonna get some free cloud somewhere around there.
God, free cloud, yes.
I don't. There's no plans at the moment. Certainly, I think Al has said before that if you see it on screen, we want to put it in game.
Yes.
So there's no question that if you've seen it, we want it there. It's just a matter of when and how we're going to make it, right? So Picard came out, but the Year of the Klingon was already, had already been planned for months, and so there was no way to kind of back out of that and change it. And we get some things from CBS in advance, and some things we don't. And so there's a lot of times where you
learn it when we learn it,
right? We learn it when you learn it. We see the map when you guys see it on screen. And so, well, that would be cool to make. Okay, but it would have been nice to be able to come out with it right now, right? But we can't do that because we have to make it now. So there's always a kind of a delay in those things. And so we, as far as I know, nobody's really done anything Picard specific yet, at least story mission wise. Obviously the Serena is in, and a couple of buffs and things are probably in, but in terms of the story, I don't think that we've even gotten there yet.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that if it happens. Digressing slightly, though, I know people have mentioned they would love to see more Enterprise-related information.
I would also love to see more Enterprise stuff. Yeah. That's a whole set that we have never even touched. I mean, I have worked on. Let's see, I've worked on every canon, like prime canon interior now.
Wow.
Because I've done TOS, I've done TNG, I've done Voyager, I've done DS9, I've done Discovery, but we haven't done anything Enterprise related yet.
It seems to be an aspect that's been overlooked or missed, and I didn't know if there was a reason or it just didn't fit yet.
I don't. There's certainly no like malice or intentional avoidance of it. I think it's just people try to give us ideas for things. We have a million ideas already.
Oh, I'm sure.
We are so full of stuff and things that we want to do, but there's only X number of us and X number of hours in a day. So it just we just haven't gotten there yet. I don't know how. I guess we've pulled some storylines in from Enterprise. We have the Sphere Builders, we have the Suliban, we did Procyon 5, but in terms of the interior, that has just never been a thing. And I would love to make it, but we'd have to come up with some kind of storyline that involves it. I've mentioned a few times to people when they ask for bridges, like I can't just make a bridge for a player to fly around in their ship. It has to be involved in the story in order for us to budget the time and manpower to build it. So we would have to come up with some kind of story. And honestly, if we're going to do an Enterprise story, that means that we would need to get some major actor to be, to kind of headline that, right? So if we found out that, T'Pol or Archer wanted to come and do voices for us, then we would absolutely find a way to make that happen, right? But
I can see that, yes.
But we also have a million other things on our plate that we're trying to juggle too. So I hope that we will get there at some point. I just don't know when that would be.
It would be totally awesome, but I certainly understand.
Even the Alachi came from Enterprise too.
Did they? God, I have to go back and watch that. It's been a while.
They weren't named. They were just this really creepy, shroomy aliens that were abducting people off of Enterprise and a few other ships.
Actually,
go ahead.
We kind of got into a discussion about when the Alachi first kind of reappeared, but appeared in the game. Mm-hmm. And it's quite early on, if I remember our discussion this morning. DT, were you around for that part?
No.
It wasn't
real-time stuff.
I mean, they're in Warehouse 18 or Installation 18, and I'm trying to think if we see them prior to that.
New Romulus.
I remember when we added them, but I don't remember. I remember vaguely just the I'm going to say like the work around adding them to the game, but I don't remember when in the timeline that happens or anything.
It's
I
like
think the first point was like Romulus when New Romulus came out. To be honest,
they were not there on New Romulus initially. We've retrofitted new things into old content.
I meant the Romulan Arc Story edition, Romulan faction.
Oh! I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct. They were abducting people there. You are correct.
Yeah, and you mean the VIR-CON portion?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Dang, that was a beautiful arc. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite ones.
That tutorial mission was great when when they first start swooping in. That was that blew my mind.
Yeah, I was demo recording it, and after detaching the camera and kind of swooping around the aspects from the demo record, you can go in and see different things happening, and it's amazing the level of detail that's going on beyond just what you're seeing on the game. So getting up there, taking the camera off, and flying around was it's wonderful. And there's a couple other of the related stories from that arc that unbelievable, and you don't pay attention to it because you're looking straight ahead, you're looking at the enemy, you're not looking up and sideways, and there's so much there. It's just lovely.
Super side note,
yes.
If you don't know, the Alachi are named for a woman named Yasmin Alachi, who works at CBS and was one of our contacts there. So
that's awesome. That's so cool. One day there will be a Mom alien. I don't think Mom makes a good alien name, though.
Well, you can flip around and still be Mom.
Yeah, I'll always be Mom. It's a boring nickname. What can I say? Excuse me.
It's an important job, though.
Yeah, but to a fleet? Fleet Mom. My other account is obviously, instead of Brondo Mom, it's Brondo Moogie because it's my Ferengi side.
I talked you into that. I'm proud
Yes,
of
you
it.
did talk me into that. Absolutely. I have been pushed to do things I would not normally do because of people in Star Trek Online.
That's good.
Maybe. Maybe it's good. It is. It just is. So we have to enjoy that once in a while.
Thanks.
Yes, it's New Momulus, Von Marcus. Of course it's New Momulus. That's the name of the place. People think it's Molrian. It's New Momulus.
What the other name that I think people don't know about is the what do we call them? The Nanovs? Is that the
little
tentacle monster thing? That was called the River Pig back in the initial discussions. We didn't have a name for it, and like so many times when you guys talk about a mission or something, you know the mission name because that's what you see. The mission name generally doesn't get added until the very end, and so I only know like the map name or whatever we called it. Oh, it's the one about blah, or it's the one that takes place on Pavo. I don't, right? I know Pavo, I know Prior's World, I know Earth Space Dock, but I don't know what the mission name is that surrounds it. And so that Nanov didn't get named until the very end, and it was called the River Pig for the entire production of New Romulus.
I think Nanov is a little bit more attractive than River Pig.
Have you found the concept art on the bridge?
No.
On New Romulus?
No.
There's an ancient Day One engraving on the bridge that runs over the Nanov pit.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to go up there. I thought I had explored that place to no end. Okay, I will go find that next.
It's almost invisible. I mean, it's even if you see it, you're not going to be able to tell what it is. But I'll send you a picture of what it is because I have a picture. It's literally a picture of the whiteboard drawing that somebody made of this thing when we were first talking about it.
Oh my
I
gosh!
Just turned it into a texture and threw it in there. So.
Yeah, I would love to see another something to the extent that New Romulus was. It was engrossing. It actually brought me back into the game because I'm not a space person as much as other things, and here we have this hugely ground-centric, story-centric arc that was just engrossing and definitely brought me back in.
I don't know that we're going to be able to do that. It involves a lot of people.
Oh heck yeah, it does. I'm sure.
I think I mistakenly said that I was mostly responsible for it. I led the project, but there were at least 3 other environment artists that all worked on that.
Mm-hmm.
All of the trees were made by Adam Flores. I think a bunch of the flowers and stuff were too. Somebody else made the entire ring of the city, and I think Peter Richmond made the Riemann section. So like there was a whole. That was when we were a larger team. So there was probably 4 or 5 environment artists working on that, plus more designers and things too. So we are a smaller team at this point, and I don't think that we would be able to pull that off with the current team size.
Well, kudos for having done it, because as I said, it was fabulous. One of the best parts of the game, still is for me.
It was fun.
Well, I'm going to let you go here because we're going to do a break here. I'm going to get something to drink, and we're going to plunge into, I have no idea what we're doing in the next hour. We're doing something.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Nick. We
Great to have
appreciate
you.
you joining us. Everybody,
Absolutely.
a little thank you to Nick. I realize they're in chat and you can't see them, but
I can't
thank you
see
so
them, but
much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for whatever you're saying there. I'll assume it's good things.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Later.
Bye. Haha, we have somebody wonderful with us. Yay! Hopefully my screens will let me change this now. All right, so we're going to take you back down there and take you back down there. And no, you can stay right
And
there.
now we're
Take you back
here.
down there. Now we're down here. Did you guys like that?
Discord's still up. Yeah, am I still in chat?
You're still talking. Just so you know, you're talking. Oops, let's see. Let's put that up there now.
I can't
There
hear
we
you
go.
here, so I gotta make some adjustments, apparently.
Okay. Can everyone hear us out there in Game Land?
There we go. I can hear you now.
Yay! So that was Nick, obviously
Yeah.
one of the environmental artists, which to me is a bit like, I have no idea what that is, but dang, I would love to do that because that's obviously freaking awesome. And tomorrow we will be joined by Scott and Weston, who... Yeah, we're going to be talking about cutscenes and hopefully have a good conversation. Hopefully you guys like that. I hope you can all join us for that. And that'll be at the same time tomorrow, 3 o'clock. And hopefully I'll figure out all my technical sides by this time tomorrow. No, that should all be there. That's there. That's there. That's there. We're good. We're good. All right.
All right.
Pardon?
All right.
All
What's going on
right.
right with you? All right, all right.
Yes, yes. Yay! People know us. People know you guys because you guys are awesome.
You're all famous now.
Yes. Well, to a degree, we're all famous anyway, because we are us. All right, we're going to click on that. That's done. That's done. And where did I put my schedule? That is a good question.
Good question.
Yeah, it's over here. All right. I had planned to play 6 Degrees, because we already played 6 Degrees, which gets, you guys don't want to play 6 Degrees twice in the same day. So we've got some options here. We can work on one of my favorite games, which is My Gun's Bigger Than Yours. Always a fun game. Ooh, apparently I got logged out there. Well, that's interesting.
Well, it was a long interview.
It was. Well, it was an hour. That was the plan. Hang on a sec. I'm going to stop this for a sec.